Cool. Okay, we're going to jump right in because we're already going.
Dang.
Full force. So welcome to episode 4 of Artists Shooting Artists. This is what I like to call the season finale because for some reason I believe, 4 weeks in a month. It's like a season. I have with me tonight an old friend. I think we're officially old friends now. Emilie I don't even know how to say your last name.
The words.
Corpuz? Corpuz. A.K.A. Anomaly in the Speakeasy Earth. Is that still a thing?
That's still kind of a thing.
It's still kind of a thing.
It's a thing that's been on hold for a little bit, but it's me, so I can't quit the band by myself. That's just me.
You can't quit yourself.
You can't.
Don't give up on yourself either.
Oh, dang.
Oh, snaps. Yeah, so for the first-time viewers, hopefully this is not the first time since this is the 4th episode, the goal of this sort of YouTube kind of interview thing is just to go out and find kind of artists, not only, I guess, musicians or photographers, not traditional art form people, but maybe just people who you wouldn't think of as, I guess, other types of art. But today, we're going with a more traditional type of artist, so that's why we have Emilie, who is probably, not to oversell her, the best non-famous musician I know. I'm not trying to set a high bar, but I'm setting a bar.
It's a high bar, though.
It's a little bit of a high bar. It's not a total high bar.
I'm just going to say thanks, but
good
times.
Good times. So we'll just jump right in. I guess the first question is, what would you consider your main instrument of attack?
It's definitely the guitar.
Definitely the guitar.
It's just something I picked up when I was in 7th grade and pretty much just know how to play it.
So you've been playing since 7th grade.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What got you into guitar? Like, is something you saw, like, I want to do that? Or did you maybe hear, like, a band or a song? You're like, that sounds fun. I want to try that out myself.
I always had, I remember having a really crappy just acoustic guitar that my parents had. And then they gave it away. And then I just started getting into music and, just ska and punk rock in high school. And I was like, I want to learn how to play guitar again.
Ska. So punk rock for a lot of people, I feel a lot of musicians, that's kind of thing. But ska, I always joke that ska was the anti-emo music.
Yeah, it was a happy time.
It was. Emo music, emo. That's still a different genre of music we're not even going to get into. Birds and all sorts of aviary issues. Emus, they're like a bird. They're like, I don't know, kind of like an ostrich. They're kind of scary, but not, I don't know. I think it's a bird. Pretty sure it's a bird.
Totally relevant.
But I always like ska music because you always got horns, like trumpets.
Yeah.
And I feel like it always made people dance and all that kind of good stuff. I am sweating profusely. Daniel, can you hand me my little, I'm going to have to dab myself down. We're in your practice studio.
Yep.
Right now, incoming rad, super professional.
If that landed on me, I would have been so mad.
Oh yeah, that would have been my assistant's fault, not mine.
Daniel.
Daniel would have been disgusting. But your practice studio is really hot. That's okay. We'll
all good.
So, ska, punk music, 7th grade.
It was a simple time.
Yeah. What kind of bands do you listen to? Like, what kind of bands really got you started?
Back then?
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, it was one of the times there was this band called the Hippos, and then RX Bandits, and just that whole weird little scene. I went to Warped Tour for almost 10 years straight. That was to give any idea of the music I would listen to. It's like, oh, who played Warped Tour? So
Warped Tour, yeah, that was the thing.
It was totally just this millennial thing that you do. You go to this show where 20 bands play, and it's a fun time.
Yeah, because we're kind of similar in age, and even musical tastes are maybe back in those days. But I feel like when we grew up, there weren't a bunch of musical festivals to go to. It's not like today where Coachella has become this
crazy, insane thing.
Yeah, it's out of proportion, and you have stuff like Fuck Yeah Fest, and you have what else is kind of big these days? I don't know, but I feel like there's just a lot more music to go out and find. Mm-hmm. They just brought back the Rockstar Taste of Chaos tour.
Oh god, yeah. So I feel like I saw that lineup, and everything that was on that lineup was cool. Yeah, I probably saw that band in high school.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's a weird little revival thing. I noticed maybe in the past few years, everyone's having these 10-year anniversary tours, and for me, it's all nostalgic, and it's still something go back to, and you're like, yeah, that was a good time. I don't really listen to the genre as much in a new capacity, but.
There's always kind of going back and kind of touching on some nostalgia.
Yep.
I mean, it's weird to think because you always associate, classic rock with, bands like Led Zeppelin and AC/DC.
Yeah, but that like wasn't my wheelhouse growing up.
But you got to figure now, like you're getting to the point. We get to the point where like, well, our classic rock is kind of getting to be like those kind of like punk rock, ska bands of like the early '90s. You think about it, the '90s were 15 years ago.
So long.
I know, so it's weird, but I'm excited.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's how pretty much I got started. Just trying to play music and be in that scene. And in high school, I grew up in Rancho Cucamonga, and there was always like local bands playing. I just kind of wanted to be a part of that. So from then on, the skill just kind of stuck.
There you go. What was your first guitar?
It was a Squier.
Yeah.
Little Squier Stratocaster. It's all stickered up too.
It was the punk rock thing.
Yeah, it was a very Weezer thing. Like,
yes, I think
that guy like stickered up all his Stratocasters, and I was like, I'm gonna do that too.
I'm gonna do that too.
Yeah. So
good old Weezer.
That was the first, other than that weird acoustic guitar, but first electric. It was that.
I feel like a lot of families always have that one random like acoustic guitar somewhere. We never did. I didn't get into music till later in life, but most families like, oh, here's a guitar you can learn to play, and some people kind of like, oh, cool, but it's like, whose guitar is it? It's like, oh, it's some random uncle's that kind of just appeared one day.
See, I think it's different because there's always pianos lying around, or we had a piano.
That's true.
So it's not like music was never around. It's like I wanted to play guitar in middle school, but yeah, that's the main instrument.
So you play guitar. What else do you play?
I play drums a little bit, and then I do know how to play piano and bass, and I do a lot of production work, and I'm an audio engineer by trade as well, and kind of I love making beats and just figuring out programming electronic sounds.
Yes, I mean that comes with the territory as a musician. Usually, kind of you pick one instrument and you can kind of learn that. I mean, guitar is nice because guitar you can go into bass, and then you go, oh, piano's kind of cool. Like, what can I do here? And then, especially these days with computers, like beats and electronic music, it's kind of all the rage, and you can do so much by yourself.
Right.
And it's kind of an interesting dichotomy of like, well, I can play all these instruments and record it, or I can program it all on my computer and I'm good to go.
Pretty much.
So I know you've been associated with a few groups in the past. Obviously, Anomaly and the Speakeasy Earth is kind of your solo sort of.
Yeah, it's been the thing I've been doing consistently, I guess, for the past 3-4 years.
Yeah.
I haven't released anything in a while, but I'm always writing and I'm always trying to finish songs. And it's a weird, like, the longer it's been since you've released something, it's like, I want it to be so good. But anyway, that's pretty much been the project.
Okay. So how much stuff have you put out? If I remember correctly, you had the Cloud9 sessions. Did I imagine that?
Yeah, so that was like the first EP. Well, I had like one EP before that was 4 songs, and actually it was all live instruments. There was no programming in it. So I played like drums and bass and guitar on that. But I wasn't super happy with it after like I put it out, so it's kind of just been tucked away. So I would consider it Cloud 8 sessions or Cloud 8 sessions.
Sessions. I was close.
Yeah, me too.
Numbers.
I would consider that the first.
Okay.
And then after that, I put another EP and then also an album out.
Okay.
So that was, in its capacity, all that stuff came out in like 2 years, in the span of 2 years. It's a productive time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good amount of material to put out in a 2-year span. I mean, a lot of bands put out a 10-song album every 2 to 3 years, and that's like, okay, gotta drag your feet to get that done.
Right.
So before Anomaly, there was Kidnapping the City.
Yep, that was my old school college band.
Yes, that's when I met you.
Yes.
We actually, fun fact,
super fun fact,
the crappy little band I played in college, we actually played with them. We played with once or twice.
I think like at least twice. Played like random sushi places and
the
Best
sushi
Buy
place. I
and
forgot
like
about the sushi place.
Just like wherever you can actually book a show in the Inland Empire back in the day.
Yeah, and they didn't cost a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Pay for play, probably one of the biggest ripoffs and for new
forever.
bands. Yeah. I forgot about the sushi place. They got mad at us because we were too loud.
Yeah.
I don't know what they expected though.
It's a sushi place.
Yeah, well, they sold a lot of beer that night.
They did.
We had a pretty big turnout, so they owe us.
But that's the college band.
The college band. So the college band was actually live instruments. It was you, bass, classic power trio, bass, guitar, drums. And Anomaly is pretty much you with the guitar, if I remember correctly, and then a lot of just your computer work. What is that like going from a band with, I guess, all live musicians to just kind of yourself with your computer?
Well, it kind of stemmed out from like a place of not having enough time to schedule playing with other people, and I had just moved out here to LA, and it was just harder and harder to get together. And so when I went to recording art school, I learned how to do that programming stuff and just got super engaged in it. And I was like, I can make a song like with my computer.
Yeah.
And yeah, so a lot of it was just a learning process in a way that I can complete a song by myself now.
Do you think, did it start off when you started doing the computer stuff, did it start off as maybe it just as a stopgap to when you eventually could get with musicians, or did you start to it and go, oh, this is, I mean, it's different, this is fun, maybe I can do this and just do it by myself? You know, was there like that kind of like decision that you made, or did it, I mean, in terms of the evolution
it was less conscious, other than like, I was always writing songs and like, how do I finish a song? It's like, well, I could just do it this way.
There's always more of a necessity than
I mean, I always love playing with musicians and jamming with musicians. It's just in, I guess, that project, it was more interesting at the time to try it out by myself. Yeah. And it's nerve-wracking kind of just being the only person in charge of like your own project. I've always written songs for the other projects that I was in, but this was a definite true representation of like my music, like, you know, and then you're on stage playing some beats alone. Like, at least like I always had that analog aspect of still playing guitar anyway. Yeah. So it was a weird experiment of putting live guitars over beats.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably and definitely an interesting experience going from like having real musicians and being by yourself, because you really are the master of everything. Like, here's, you know, a song is completely yours. Was it an adjustment getting used to playing like to a computer, you know, backing band, I guess?
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, there's no one to play off of other than yourself, but it's also really hard to like try and trigger stuff. And I still do like weird little loops with my guitar pedals, and I always kept it interesting enough for me to not get bored and like stay challenged, I guess, and still get the song across. You know, like, you never know where song ideas really come from. Yeah. And like, at least for me, and just to be able to like have them out and played was, you know, satisfying for me, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's the best part, I guess, about being a musician, is you kind of break into music and you kind of start doing it this one way, but there's so many different ways you can approach like songwriting. Right. You can do it with a band, you can do it by yourself, you can do it on a computer, you can do these other instruments, and you can play these instruments in another way. Right. There's a movie I just watched that escapes me. I think it was called Fred. It has Michael Fassbender, and he plays.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah,
I need to watch it.
It's interesting because he plays in like this really, like just off the wall like music, avant-garde sort of band, and they go and rent this cabin and they're playing. Yeah. it's really crazy, but it's funny. I mean, it's kind of almost like a dark comedy sort of thing, but to a degree, it's really telling of like how music as a form of expression, like. That's a way you can express yourself. Like, there's no like set rules. Like, well, if you want to write a song,
it has to be in XYZ form. And
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I guess for better or for worse, like a lot of the pop industry, like that's kind of their MO is like, well, you have this kind of formula for, you know, making a pop hit, and there's stuff. You know, it's people look at pop music as it's kind of like the dark end of music, but you can't. I mean, obviously, it's catchy. A lot of it can be catchy.
I don't even niche it in that way, because getting something really good in production value and that's catchy and that everyone wants to listen to, like, that's no easy feat either. Yeah. I know that a lot of these, it's not the artist per se writing all the songs, but there's like still work involved, and I don't know, it's tough writing like a super catchy song that everyone wants to listen to. So I have all the respect for the people that can do it and do it well. Yeah, I mean, it's called pop music because it's popular. Yeah, and it's, you know, if it makes money and it's jobs. I mean, people are it's like you said, it's a performance, and it's people going out there and kind of expressing and stuff. So it's definitely an interesting kind of take on like the music industry, how people like think of pop music being this like really bad or like not pure form of music, but it's just, I mean, you can't really pigeonhole music in a different way. Like it's out there for everybody, and it's really hard to. I think it used to be easier doing it when you were young, because it would just be like, the new thing that I'm listening to is the coolest thing ever, and like not that popular stuff. But now it's just like, Coachella is so popular. Like, all these things are popular now. Indie music is popular. There's just so many ways to access whatever's around, and you know, if it's good, it'll last. People will consistently listen to it.
Exactly. You talk about Coachella. I can remember my freshman year of college. Coachella was one. I remember specifically because Weezer had put out their album Make Believe, which was okay, and it was the first time they had played in like 4 or 5 years. It was Coachella. I think it was one day. Coldplay was headlining, and Weezer was like the second big act.
Right.
And that was it. Now
Yeah.
Coachella's 2 weekends.
Oh, it's insane.
And it's like the music event of the year for a lot of people, or for most musicians, because
Yeah.
like that's it's kind of like the center of like the music world.
Yeah,
for
the first Coachella I went to was I went in 2006 and 2007, and yeah, it was $80 for one day. I saw Daft Punk,
Yeah.
Arcade Fire, Sigur Rós, like all these crazy bands that would just play that one weekend. And then I didn't go again until like 2011, and then it's just been. I mean, it's still a beautiful experience when you
Yeah.
go, but it's just definitely on a different scale now.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger.
So.
Well, that's pretty cool. So it's interesting. So when you were playing in your college band and you guys were recording stuff, was that mostly? I mean, I guess it's interesting with the whole like analog versus digital kind of realm now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you have a lot of experience recording stuff like on tapes and stuff, or have you always kind of done stuff digitally?
I've kind of always done it digitally. I
Yeah.
mean, pretty much. I recorded that band too. Like, just bought an interface and PC, and like,
Yeah.
that was even before I went to recording art school. Like, just to learn how to track it. And
Yeah.
I didn't mix it myself, but yeah, who has an access to a tape machine when? I mean, I don't really. I'm not the. I need to record it on a 4-track cassette because it sounds so much pure. Like, I don't know. That's just not my
You don't
wheelhouse.
find that hype? Yeah, you don't.
I don't. Well, I don't. It's not that I don't believe in it. Like, it's just a certain kind of sound that I never really
It's
strived
different,
for.
yeah.
Yeah. Like if I was trying to do a soul record or like a crazy grunge record, maybe. But that band was a clean rock record,
Yeah.
or for the most part. So that's just. And I find myself more interested in making like weird little using the digital platform and making creative parts in it and using automation and
Yeah.
all of that to create a song and have
So-
that delay part be a part.
What do you mostly like? What are you using these days in terms of like beat creation or whatever, like loops and stuff?
Well, I work in Pro Tools and
Yeah.
I use Reason. That's pretty much what I use to make the beats.
The beats, pretty
The
standard
beats,
stuff.
Yep,
Like,
and that and guitar. I have this huge pedal board with a bunch of noisemakers.
it's big. We'll get a shot of it at some point during the performance later on. You're talking about the recording process, and it's interesting. I mean, it's almost we're lucky in a sense that we kind of grew up in a time where it's like really easy to record like your own stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can go out and buy a $100 interface, and you could. A lot of computers come with like GarageBand or whatever, and you just record in your room, and hey, now you can put it on the internet, and there it is for millions of people to see. And, well, if they will they see it is the question. I guess that's the trick, is getting millions of people to see it.
Yeah.
But I guess that's a benefit of a lot of older musicians. I wonder if there's like some kind of almost jealousy in terms of like with how easy it is for people to record stuff these days. If that's why people kind of go back and like, oh, the vinyl is the best, or like you got to record analog and you got to do all this kind of stuff, versus just anyone can go out and mix and produce and.
Yeah, I
on
mean,
their
like
own.
that's just such a long-winded debate. You know, it's one of those like, if you want something to sound good, make it sound good. Like,
Yeah.
pick your platform, and like, the song just has to be good. The music has to be good, like that first and foremost, and then whatever platform you decide to record it on, and whoever you trust to mix and edit and produce your record is like that's the end product. Will show more. It doesn't really matter. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it could. But again, a long-winded debate. It
really is.
Not really. It's like I don't even spend a lot of time thinking about it anymore.
Well, that's good. Well, people I feel like get caught up in the process a lot, and I think with that issue is like the process really shouldn't matter. It really should just be the end result. I mean, that's kind of all that really matters is like what you when you make in the end, like how you get there, and what instruments you use, how you record everything. Like that's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But it's I think people kind of worry so much about like, oh, you didn't use this to record that, or it's like, oh, what kind of guitar you have? Oh, you only used a Squire. You didn't use like a.
People still worry about that. Just get over it.
I feel like anytime there's levels of like degree of equipment or gear, there's always
Yeah.
kind of this weird.
The gearheads.
The gearheads. There's always the gearheads. It happens with photography. It happens with like,
Yeah.
music, like any sort of like genre.
No, just in any capacity, just like having better ears or whatever. Just like that's more important. Like being able to listen doesn't matter how much you can have nice gear, but if you don't know how to listen, it's still just gonna sound like average.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. So here's an interesting question. So being that you are a woman in the rock world,
Oh gosh.
have you found? I'm just curious. Have you found yourself I mean, has it ever been an obstacle you've encountered, like as you've, I don't know, tried to move up in the music industry, or just, you know?
Well, I just feel like I'm not really as big, or at least a part of the music industry, other than like I write songs and like,
That's true.
you know, so hurdles in that sense, it's beyond me.
But even, I mean, even you think about like women front women,
Yeah.
women, front woman,
Mm-hmm.
front, whatever you would call that. You don't see them too often as much in rock music as you would maybe other sort of genres. So I feel like, I mean, I don't know if you've any felt any weird pushback for anybody, or is that, I mean, is that been anything you've ever encountered or anything like that?
No.
Good. Go society. Like, that's
yeah.
great.
I mean, yeah, I don't see it as it's like, I'm a girl and I'm not going to write these songs because guys have it easier. Like, it's never been part of like my process.
Yeah, that's good. I like to hear that, actually.
Yeah.
Have you found, so I mean, between playing by yourself and playing with a band, do you prefer one or the other? Have they offer their own experiences in their own right? Like, do you kind of wish sometimes you're playing by yourself, like, I really wish I had a band right now, or when you're playing with the band, you're like, I wish I was by myself, or is it all just kind of it's all what you need at that moment in time for the music you're trying to create?
I think definitely the latter.
Yeah.
I mean, even I've mostly played solo for the past few years, but now I'm like, oh, cool, I want to play in a band again. But it's not like I'm never going to want to play solo again. And even in that capacity, I haven't played live a lot recently. So getting back into it, I'm like, cool, I want to do it with a band.
Yeah.
And that's just this space and time. But that can change. And I think each, it's kind of like nerve-wracking in their own right. Because in a band, you do rely on the other people to know their parts. But you can also feed off of that and feed off of that energy. And when you're playing solo, you just have to know your part and like know your song and like be okay with that. It's like, it's all you, and it's a very vulnerable thing, but it's also worthwhile when you do it successfully, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like any artist, you kind of, you go down this path of one way and you do that, and you're really excited, and you kind of do that, and you're like, okay, that was cool, like, let's go try this, and you kind of go back and forth, and that's just part of the creative process.
It's keeping yourself more interested than not.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I guess that's really what makes, someone who's interested in the arts, like, really motivated to do something, because you're always trying to find the next big thing, or the next interesting thing.
Yeah, because if you're bored with like what you're doing and like with yourself, then no one else is gonna motivate it, like other than like you. So just it might seem neurotic, but it's really not. You're just trying to challenge yourself.
Be better than you were yesterday.
I guess
that's my motto. Okay, here's a silly question. It's gonna be probably really hard.
Oh yeah.
And it's really cliche.
Gosh.
If you were on a desert island.
Oh gosh.
And you only had 3 albums. Records.
That's so stressful.
I know.
I don't even want to answer that.
Well, it's my show, and if you don't want to answer it, that's okay. But you should try.
I don't know.
Just think real hard, but real fast. 3 albums that you're always going to fall back on if you're having a bad day or a good day, or just
a good day.
Or just kind of those albums that have always kind of maybe albums that really just kind of defined you musically in your life, or which is kind of weird because obviously your musical tastes evolve over time. But I feel like there's always those few albums that you always kind of look back on, or like, that was kind of a big influence in my life.
I mean, on repeat, or things I usually go back to at some point, is I think Jenny Lewis's album More Adventurous. It's a good one. Yeah. Probably RX Bandits, The Resignation, just because it's like mad nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's nothing wrong with nostalgia.
Yeah,
either.
but
like,
they've also been like the only weird ska band that like actually evolved and got crazy technical and still do it.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of respect for that. And then probably recently St. Vincent Strange Mercy.
Yeah.
She's like really talented as a guitar player, and that's something I've always kind of strove for.
Yeah.
So it's engaging.
Yeah, see, like, but
that could change.
I mean, it can change, but
whatever. I'm not going on a desert island anytime soon.
Weren't you just at a desert? No, it was an island. Cancun's not an island.
It's not an island. It's part of Mexico.
I know geography. So I guess, I mean, would you? I really hate like labeling genres and stuff, but you kind of consider like a rock guitarist for the most part. Or, I mean, is that what you started off as? And
yeah, in a sense that there was 3 chords that you play over drums. And semi-rock music. It wasn't like jazz or blues or.
That's true. I mean, how do you feel like your music has evolved over, maybe from like your college band to your present day solo work, or whatever you want to kind of embark on next?
I think before I was way more interested in like the crazy guitar parts and sweeping or just doing like fast things on the guitar.
Yeah.
But nowadays I'm more focused on songwriting and like what serves the song. Like before I used to write like a 6-minute song just because there was like all these cool guitar parts that I wanted to play.
Yeah.
But that was fun then. But I don't know, not to say that I would never do that again, but that's not really something I do in my process.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of the songs before used to be like written together with a band or have like the lyrics written down first. But now I just have a weird process of like the lyrics usually come first.
Yeah.
And then I build guitar stuff around that. So, and also the programming part of it, just using a computer and taking more time in how things are produced. And
just comes with the process of evolving, I guess, as a musician or artist, whatever. Like you're gonna approach everything a little differently. And
and I will say I've always been a weird singer by default. Like I wasn't even the first singer of my college band. I wasn't ever the first singer of my high school band. It was just like that guy quit and then I was like, okay, I guess like I wrote the songs anyway, but I never really wanted to be a front person.
Yeah.
So, but I got kind of comfortable in that role and kind of embrace it now. They're like, I write songs.
Yeah.
I like to sing.
Yeah.
It's a fun time.
There you go.
So
being on stage, I mean, that's, it's part of the rush.
Yeah, and I've definitely, I feel like I've gotten better vocally in that sense.
Yeah. So, okay, here's kind of thing. Did you hear about the whole Taylor Swift fighting Apple with the paid subscription, not paying musicians sort of thing?
Yeah, saw a little blurb, little headline.
So it brought up, I was thinking about it, and there's a whole big issue with, especially with, pirating music is really easy for a lot of people to do today, and a lot of bands, I mean, obviously if you're creating a product, which for a lot of people, music is personal, but it also can be a product.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it always is a product. And in terms of like albums, there's been a lot of different approaches to how do you deal with people like you're just gonna download your album, like music sells, a lot of it's streaming now. Do you have a opinion on, a lot of bands have tried, pay what you feel like you should pay for this album, or people give away their music and rely on I guess tours to kind of finance them.
Right.
Do you have an opinion on, like, as a musician, as someone who, I mean, if you could, I would assume that if you could just make music and perform as a profession full time, that's probably what you'd want to be able to do, maybe, kind of.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be against it. Let's say.
I wouldn't be against it.
So if that was something that you could do, and you had to deal with this sort of aspect of people downloading music. I mean, what would your opinion be on, like, how would you approach getting music out there? Would you be like, well, I'm just going to put out my stuff? Because it's kind of, obviously, when you're a new musician, all you want to do is give your music away. Because you just want people to hear you.
Yeah.
It's like, here's my
here's my
SoundCloud, here's my Facebook page,
right.
Here's my MySpace music page, which I don't know if it's still a thing, because there was MySpace.
I don't think it is anymore.
No, they tried and it didn't work. But, have you ever thought about, like, that's something like, gosh, like, what would I do if I put an album out that was big, but, like, people were just downloading it? Like, would you know what I mean? Like, is that something you've ever...
it almost puts it in to be like, the digital platform itself is not ideal,
Yeah.
It's like, of course, if every musician, like, would love to make vinyl records and have people would just pay for the vinyl records and, but, like, the amount of time that it takes us to make one song and mix a song, like, the process itself will always be more time than, like, 99 cents.
Yeah.
There's, like, hundreds of dollars and hours that go into making a song.
Yes.
So it'll never be sold in, like, the amount that it was, the time and money that was put in.
Yeah.
But with that said, it's just, like, I guess, people are looking for another caveat to put outside of that, what's being sold. Like, song's not just worth the song, they want something else, or you're selling, like, the brand. And I don't think of it that way. I just think of writing the song and getting it out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have Spotify.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hate on it.
Yeah.
And I also have my album on Spotify and probably make, like, $1 a year, which is terrible. But what are you going to do?
Well, I guess it's this weird thing as a musician. It's like, you can go out, you make an album, and I guess a moderately sized album production in terms, if you have, like, a recording studio you're using. I mean, if you're just doing it by yourself at home, time cost. Like it costs time, if nothing else, to do all this stuff. So you figure like, okay, well, I'm going to put an album. Like I don't want people just to download it. But the argument is, if a lot of times you get bands, they put in albums, they're 10 or 11 songs. And if you're only listening to 2 or 3 songs, there's this weird, how much is an album worth to someone? Obviously, you can buy songs individually, but I feel like as an artist, if you're going to put on a full album, unless they just don't care about the whole content of it, like there's usually like a flow to an album, and there's concept albums which every song is kind of related, but usually you create an album, it has sort of a theme or some kind of flow to it. So for people just to go out and be able to just to stream individual songs or just buy individual songs, it's it's almost like, what's the point of making an album? Why not just put out singles? And that comes from the artistic process. Like, well, I have all these songs I want to put out. It's an interesting process you have to deal with.
If people thought of it that way, of like, oh, like you just nitpicked it, like for sure. Yeah. Which is what it is. Yeah. But it's also like, people thought about like how much, like I won't write an album because like people might only want 1 or 2 songs. Like, then like no one would make music, or at least like I feel for me, it's like music's kind of this intrinsic good thing. Like you just do it in and of itself. And if you want to actually give yourself a goal, you make your album. You finish a song. Like, and whatever those goals are, you just put it out there, and people will reciprocate. And you can't even, I guess, pinpoint it to like, I want people to like receive it in this way. I want people to pay 99 cents, and like it's worth all that 99 cents. But I want them to pay 9 cents for each song. Like, it's just such a long-winded, like weird debate where I don't want to say I'm over it, but it's like,
what can you do?
Yeah. And I think in that sense, like when it comes to royalties, maybe the owner of Spotify is probably a billionaire, so he should probably share a little bit of that. Yeah. But I'm not going to get down into the numbers of exactly how much he should be paying me, because I get $1 a year. Who knows?
I guess, you can't, everybody's situation is going to be different, but I feel like, maybe the best approach for a lot of musicians is you're going to go out and you're going to create something, because I feel like anytime you create something, it's it's a part of you, whatever you're feeling or that particular time, and you're going to put it out there, and being able to put it out there it's a great experience to share with other people and have people like see this thing you did. And I think if you go in with the attitude like, well, I'm just going to do this thing because I like doing it, in and of itself, I'm going to make this because it's something I want to do. And if it makes me money, like, awesome. Like, that's it's a nice unintended consequence. Or maybe it's an intended. Some people might go into music just to make make money. Word choice. But I feel like the best way to approach it is like, let's make something that we're proud of, that we can put out for people to enjoy. Because that's really, you got to figure, people make music for other people to enjoy it. For the most part, obviously, some people might make their own music.
Give and take. Yeah. I would say that, like, that's one way to look at it, but it's also like, I mostly make music for me.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's like the one, like selfish thing that, like, I don't have to feel bad about being selfish about. Yeah.
That's true. Actually, I think that's probably a more accurate way to look at it. You make the music that you like, and if other people like it, great, but it's your creation, it's your, your thought manifested. So like whatever happens, but as long as you can make the best thing out of it, I think that really comes down to
truth.
That cool. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna do a performance. I don't even know what
I want to sing yet.
We don't know the song, but there'll be a song. Is your SoundCloud still up? Do you still have like a SoundCloud of your music, or what's? If someone wanted to check you out, which I highly recommend because she is phenomenal, where would be the best way to do that?
Well, I've kind of encompassed everything into this thing called Anomaly Productions.
Okay, is that a website? Or?
Yeah,
okay.
I just actually put it up recently. It's spelled ANOMALIE Productions.
Okay. So
that's got like music on there, and also 2 aspects of my career. Yeah. I'm a sound editor in post-production, and I'm also I just finished I spent the last 3 months learning how to program at this school.
There you go.
And so started making like weird little music apps and delving into that world of creation. So Anomaly Productions is kind of a sum of my creative work.
Perfect.
So that's where you can check that out.
All right. We'll link it somewhere. There's annotation boxes that I probably should know how to use by now. Boop. maybe. I don't know. I'll link it in the profile, all that kind of good stuff. Cool. So thank you for coming on and talking with me and listening to me ramble. We're going to do a song of something. We'll figure it out. And I hope you enjoy. So Emilie, thanks again.
Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, all right. Check out our website and stay tuned for the performance.
This song is called Then and Now. Far below us, in quicker sand, getting out as fast as we can, and in no time, in no man's land, silence was all we could ever ask. Soon that tree will fall in the way, and we will find another escape. Just look around, then is it now? Soon as we've got nothing to say, is when we'll find another escape. Just look around, then is it now? And hoping we could touch the sky, just as easy when the dark turns into night, and we felt smaller in every light, and dared to speak whatever's on our mind. Soon as we've got nothing to say, is when we'll find another escape. Just look around, then is it now? Soon as we've got nothing to say, is when we'll find another escape. Just look around, then is it now? We've got nothing to say, is when we'll find another escape. Just look around, then is it now? Soon as we've got nothing to say, is when we'll find another escape.